my lovely Venusians. It's the middle of September and at least here it's still 90 degrees, so it feels really hard to feel like the year is coming to a close. However, my 2025 TBR is making me reckon with the fact that the year is almost over. I want to clarify that this is not in a reading goal, certain number of books have to be read kind of way. It's more in a I have arcs that I need to finish and also books that I've just been really excited for, and somehow as a mood reader they just keep getting pushed down the list kind of way. I posted about these books earlier this month on my TikTok and made this cute little graphic, so maybe I'll put it up here on the screen. The first book is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. This is a new release that came out on September 9th, and I was lucky enough to receive an advanced reader copy from Saga Press. This book was amazing and I rated it 4.5 stars, but I would like to make it clear that I don't think star ratings matter to anyone except for publishers and the person who rated it that. Please know that when it comes to me and anyone else who's giving you recommendations, that you should listen to what they have to say about a book to make your decision and not a number, because their number is never going to be your number, even if hypothetically you felt the exact same about the book. That said, I love this book. It's incredibly timely in today's political and social climate, and honestly that makes it really hard to stomach, coupled with the fact that it has intense, vom-worthy body horror, so read at your own risk. Aside from trigger warnings, I do think that this is a book that's best to go on with minimal knowledge of the plot. The story follows a trans and autistic man named Crane who ends up pregnant. Not only does Crane run into issues with the United States government when considering terminating this pregnancy, the hive mind of worms and flies that he's associated with demand he has this baby as well. Wretch by Era LaRocca is set to release in March of 2026. I was lucky enough to receive an advanced reader copy from Saga Press. I haven't picked this one up yet, but I do know that it's about Simeon, who is a recent widow. After his husband dies, he finds himself linked with a grief support group that has a very sinister way of relieving that pain. The first book that I actually have a copy with me is I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. I got this book from the library and I'm about this far into it. I haven't picked it up in a few days because honestly other books have just been capturing my attention more. This story follows Tolly, a Native American teenager in a small Texan town, who is recounting the story of how he became a teenage slasher. The next book that I would like to read is What Hunger by Catherine Dang. A Vietnamese American teenager is met with family tragedy, followed by an assault at a party, both of which change something inside of her. She now has an insatiable hunger for raw meat. The next handful of books are all a part of a future video on this channel, so I won't say much except for that they're all related to the beauty industry. Here are the 3 that I currently have from my public library. Next we have Calabasas by R.F. Kuang. This is the first book that I've bought in a really long time, but I was so excited I literally left my house at 8 a.m. on release day to go to my local indie bookstore. Calabasas follows 2 grad students who travel through hell to save their professor. The Grand Scheme of Things by Warona J. I received an advanced copy of this book courtesy of Atria Books, and honestly I'm really behind on this one. Like, I really need to get to it. 2 unlikely allies join forces to expose injustice in the theater world when Eddie, a black woman, realizes that she can get her play on stage if she pretends that Hugo, a white man, wrote it. Post-Traumatic by Chantel V. Johnson is about the unraveling of an Afro-Latina lawyer in New York. She advocates for the mentally ill while dealing with demons of her own. Time has passed. The lighting has changed. I took a nap and still I returned to you, a very sleepy girl. Next we have 2 books by Jade Song, Chlorine and I Love You Don't Die. I don't know much about either book, and I feel like they're those books that you're not supposed to know much about. I think Chlorine is about a murderous teenage mermaid, and I'm sure I Love You Don't Die is a very similar vibe. This book is a debut novel about a black biracial woman who lives in the UK. She lives in a small town, is in her early 20s, is pretty aimless, and is currently working as a house cleaner. Someone approaches her with an opportunity and she gets swept up into the world of sugaring. We are currently reading this for the September pick of my Fable book club, Weird Strange Literary Black Girls, and if you want to read along, join us. The next book is Lote by Shola von Reinhold. Lote follows Matilda, a queer black woman in London who has always been obsessed with the bright young things. They were a real-life socialite group in the 1920s. She comes across a picture of them and sees a forgotten black poet who she becomes obsessed with finding more about them. This leads her to a strange artist residency that has secret societies and sabotage and Lots of crazy things. This book is also a contender for the book club. However, we are a democracy, so if we don't get it voted in, I'll just have to read it on my own. Whispers of Dead Girls by Marley Bush. I received an advanced reader copy of this book courtesy of Poison Pen Press. This is a mystery thriller about a woman who's returning to her hometown to teach at her old high school. The last time that she was ever really in town, walking those halls, was in the wake of a horrible tragedy, the murder of her sister. Soon after her arrival, another young high school girl goes missing, and she's determined to make sure the same thing doesn't happen this time. I have started this book, but I have not gotten very far. Here Lie All the Boys Who Broke My Heart by Emma Simmerman. I received this book as an advanced copy courtesy of Avon and Harper Voyager. This story follows a college-aged main character who has a cheeky little habit of eulogizing her ex-boyfriends. That's all fine and dandy until the ex-boyfriends start showing up dead, and this paints her as the prime suspect. Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Set in 1993 in Mexico City, this book follows a sound editor and a former soap opera star as they stumble into an occultist who made a very curious film many years before and is asking for their help to break a curse. Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. This book is about a 16-year-old trans boy named Benji who is on the run from the fundamentalist cult that raised him. This cult has released Armageddon and has essentially decimated the world's population, so he's finding it hard to get somewhere where they can't get their hands on him or the bioweapon that they have infected him with. Hunchback by Sao Ichikawa is about a woman named Shaka. She has a congenital muscle disorder and spends most of her days inside of a care home. Within the walls of her care home and with unlimited access to the internet, she publishes her most explicit fantasies and troll tweets at people and just generally does whatever she wants. One day she tweets into the void to see if anyone will accept the call to be her sperm donor, and someone answers. The Trees by Percival Everett. A pair of detectives arrive in Money, Mississippi to investigate a series of brutal murders. At every crime scene they find a second body. A body that's not the one they came for. A body that resembles Emmett Till, and then disappears. Outdrawn by Deanna Gray is a sapphic workplace rivals to lovers story, where two characters are working together to create a highly anticipated webcomic together. And the last book that we have is Gifted and Talented by Olive E. Blake. Upon the death of their father, three high-achieving siblings are forced to reckon with their long-standing rivalry. It's giving like Succession vibes.